Phoenix LiveView 1.1 is here, and with it, several exciting new features and an optimized upgrade path. Let's walk through an upgrade, stopping to take a look at the new sites along the way. If you're new here, welcome. My name's Christian, and I'm a polyglot software engineer with a fondness for Elixir. All of the code in this video is available on GitHub with a link in the description. Let's get into it. To begin, I've got a LiveView 1.0 project that simulates a CI/CD dashboard. We can create repos, and then different activity like commits and build statuses are pushed live to the front end. It uses hooks as well as custom events, and we'll get into what that's going to mean for LiveView 1.1 in a little bit. Now, if you've ever had to upgrade LiveView in the past, you probably had to carefully step through some upgrade instructions. But this process is much better with 1.1. In the project, I'll open up my terminal and run mix igniter.upgrade Phoenix LiveView. And if you don't already have Igniter installed, you should absolutely check it out. It's a code generation and patching tool that comes from the Ash community and is now catching on in the rest of Phoenix and Elixir. So I'll run this. And it's going to ask me along the way for confirmation on the steps that it's performing. So it's going to modify my mix file, it's going to do an installation, and then it's going to start tweaking some of the settings. Here it wants to know if I want to update my ES build configuration for a feature called Colocated hooks. Absolutely, yes please. It'll give me a preview of every change that it's going to be making, and I can hit yes. And it also has a notice for the manual step that's required over in the JavaScript side. After all, Igniter only patches Elixir for now. But it's an opportunity to show something new. I'll go over to app.js, and if I hover over LiveSocket, it now has a TypeScript type annotation. I didn't have to install the types package for Phoenix LiveView, it just came from Phoenix LiveView itself, one of the new features of 1.1. So if you're in an app with a lot of hooks, I'm sure this will be really helpful for you. But if you're like me, you probably only have little sprinkles of JavaScript in your Phoenix apps. So let's take a look at Colocated hooks. Now that I've pasted in Igniter's suggestion in app.js, pulling in these Colocated hooks from the Phoenix Colocated package, let's take a look at the interactivity in this application and then migrate it over to use Colocated hooks. So in the page, these countdown timers that update every second are happening on the JavaScript side through a hook that I called time ago. When mounted, this hook will run every second, updating the rendered text inside of the element to either be some number of seconds ago, minutes ago, or a while ago, using just now for the first 5 seconds of a timestamp. Now this hook is being used in my live view everywhere that I use the relative time component, which is a custom component that I put in core components in my project. So I pass in a date time and it handles the rest. But it's frustrating that the component is defined in my Elixir file while its interactivity is in the assets folder. So after the migration to Colocated hooks, it looks something like this. Instead of referencing time ago, a string that's found over in a JavaScript file, I reference .time ago. That is needed for compiler reasons. All these Colocated hooks need to start with a dot. But I can just put the implementation right below inline inside of the component, and it'll get extracted by the compiler, put into the JavaScript bundle, and taken care of for me. This gives a developer experience that's similar to Vue.js, where you have your interactivity and your layout in the same place. Now, this isn't just limited to hooks. I built a copy to clipboard button for these commit SHAs, where when I click on them and then paste, I'll have the full SHA in my clipboard. This uses custom events, which is a topic I highlighted in a LiveView.js video a little while back. Now with Colocated.js, the handler can be pulled into the Heeks template of the button that emits it. Let me scroll down and show you what I'm talking about. My copy button component now declares the copy to clipboard window event listener. So whenever I dispatch copy to clipboard, right here I can see dataset.value, which is going to match this data value. And this will also help with LLMs when they are trying to manage their context window, because they can see the full picture and all of the weird side effects front end and back end of components. So that's Colocated JavaScript. But my favorite feature of LiveView 1.1 is a huge optimization. It's not uncommon to use a list comprehension to loop through items and render elements on the page. Each card on this page goes through the process. Now, these template files get compiled down into static sections and dynamic slots, with diffs being sent over the LiveView WebSocket. That's part of what sets LiveView apart from, let's say, Rails Livewire, which would send the entire HTML instead of just sending a little diff. But there was a very sharp edge before. For the moment, I switched back to the old LiveView in version 1.0. Now, every time that there's an update to any of the cards on the page, a diff of all of the cards is sent to the client. In this case, all 5 of them. In total, this means that every update is actually pretty large. We're not getting that efficiency boost that we were expecting out of doing HTML diffs because there was no way to track these in basic list comprehensions. But after updating to 1.1, only changed items from the list are pushed to the client, which reduces network traffic. So if I take a look at one of these messages, it's only updating the one element that is actually changing. The diffs are much smaller in length now. Now, this doesn't come for free. There's additional memory overhead on the server to keep track of all of these differences. So if you've got huge lists and care about memory consumption, the advice to check out LiveView streams is still very relevant. More about that can be found in LiveView's documentation. And while we're in the dev tools, I've got one more feature to show you. LiveView components that use slots now emit comment blocks to show those slot boundaries and the elements on the page. This can help debug complex layouts and is controllable through a LiveView configuration Boolean property. The igniter.upgrade script enables this in your development environment by default. There are a few more upgrades in LiveView 1.1, including the portal element, ignore attributes, and a small migration from Floki to lazy HTML and tests. It's worth checking out the changelog to get relevant examples and commentary from the Phoenix core team. I'm excited to see the benefits of Colocated JavaScript and the performance boost in list comprehensions in my apps, and I hope you are too. Thanks to everyone who contributed to this release. This has been Code and Stuff. Thanks for watching.